Good morning, grade 2. How are you? Today we're going to learn a new reading strategy. Starting from Unit 1 until now, we have studied a lot of reading strategies. Like I told you before, main idea and details, compare and contrast, same and different, summarize, categorize, many reading strategies. But our new reading strategy today is theme. Theme. What's our new reading strategy today? See again, theme. What is the meaning of theme? The theme is the big idea or the lesson the author wants you to take away or to understand. So what's the meaning of theme? The theme is the big idea or the lesson that the author wants you to understand from the story. To help you identify the theme, you can ask yourself these questions. So when you read the story, you can ask yourself some questions. What was the problem in this story? What did the characters learn from the story? How did the characters' feelings change in the story? How did their actions change in the story? So when I read any story, I have to ask myself some questions. What's the problem in this story? What did the characters learn from this story? Or what's the lesson that I learned from this story? And how they change or how the characters change in this story. When I ask myself these questions, I can understand this story is talking about what. I can understand what's the lesson that I understand it from the story. Unlike the summary and main idea of a story, themes are general and could apply to multiple stories. So here, what's the meaning of theme? It's the big idea or the big lesson that the author or the writer wants you to understand from the story. So we have to ask ourselves some questions when we read any story. What was the problem in the story? What did the characters learn? How did the characters' feeling change? Okay, now let's move to one example here to apply our strategy theme. The story here is about two crabs. So our title of the story here is The Two Crabs. The Two Crabs. So from the title here, I understand that I have two characters here in the story. Two crabs. Let's read together. One fine day, two crabs came out from their home to take a stroll on the sand. Stroll here means to walk. To walk on the sand. So two crabs came out from their home to take a walk or to take a stroll on the sand. Child, said the mother, your walk is very crooked. So who's talking here? The mom or the mother. She is talking to whom? To her child, the small crab. Your walk is very crooked. You should be walking straight forward without twisting from side to side. Yes, mother. Who's saying this one? The kid or the child. Said the young one. But please show me how. I have only been walking the same way you do. Who's talking here? The child. He's talking to his mom. Okay, so here when we read this story, we understand that the lesson of this story or the writer wants me to understand that leading by example is the best rule. Who's the example for the child here? Of course, his mom. He's doing like his mom. He's doing everything like his mom. Even the way how he walks. That's why he asked her to teach him how to walk. So here, what's the theme for this story? Leading by example is the best rule. Who's your example? Your dad or your mom? So now we understand what's the meaning of theme. Now we understand or we know how to apply the reading strategy theme on any story. Okay? Now let's move to the student book. Open page 157. Write the date. Today is Monday, April 13, 2020. Theme. Remember, the theme of a story is the most important thing the writer wants you to understand. The most important thing the writer wants you to understand. This is the theme. The writer is often teaching something important. Of course, he's telling something important in his story. Okay? So we have to understand this lesson. Read the story, then circle the theme. It's a cold and rainy day, and Josh can't play outside. His mom sees his sad face and says, "Let's make some fun things." They make a toy car, and Josh pushes and pulls the car on the table. So here, it's a cold day, and Josh can't play outside because it's rainy. And his mom suggests that they can make fun things to sit inside the home, and she told him that they can make a toy car, and Josh pulls the car and pushes it to play. "This is fun," he says. Then they make a toy boat. So they make first a toy car, then after that they make a toy boat. Josh pushes his boat across the water in the kitchen sink. "This is fun too," he says. "Thanks for a great day, Mom." Now, what's the theme of this story? Let's read together. A. You can play outside when it's raining. This is the theme. Or it's good to play inside with your mom. Or it's good to think of things to do inside when it's rainy. The theme here is letter C. Why, teacher? I can choose letter A or B. Here I choose the most important thing that the writer wants me to understand. When you read this story, what you understand? What's the thing that you understand it? That I have or I should think to do different things at home if it's rainy outside. Correct? Not only to play inside or to that I'll not be able to go outside if it's rainy. No. So the theme here is it's good to think of things to do inside the home when it's rainy. Okay? Now, let's move to the workbook, page 138. Write the date, Monday, April 13, 2020. Read the story quickly, answer the questions. Here the question is, what do the boys find in the park? Let's read the story first, then we will answer this question. What's the title of the story here? A Day in the Park. A Day in the Park. So what's the title of this story here? A Day in the Park. This is my title. Diego and Julio often play together in the biggest park in town. One day, they find an old wagon in the park and they play with it all day. They push and pull it around the park. Diego pulls Julio and then Julio pulls Diego. They have fun. Here in this part or in this paragraph, what does the writer want you to understand or to know? That there are two friends, their names are Diego and Julio, and they have fun together with the wagon in the park, correct? So here I understand that there are two friends who have fun in the park. Okay, let's move to the other part, the other paragraph. It's time to go home. Diego and Julio both want to take the wagon home. Both of them want to take the wagon home. They both grab the wagon. I want the wagon, says Diego. No, I want the wagon, says Julio. They push and pull the wagon for a long time. It breaks. I don't want the wagon now. Who said this one? Says Diego. Well, I don't want it now either, says Julio. And they leave. They're both angry and unhappy. So here, what does the writer want you to know in the second paragraph? What do you think? What does the writer want you to know in this paragraph? That they're both angry and unhappy. They fight together or they fought together and they're happy, they're unhappy and sad now. Okay. Now let's move to the last paragraph. When they meet 2 days later, Julio says, I'm sorry, Diego. I'm sorry too, says Diego. Let's take turns next time. Now, both boys know it's not good or it's not good to be stubborn. What does the writer want you to understand or to know here? Both boys know it's not good to be stubborn with each other, okay? Here, let's answer the first question. What do the boys find in the park? We know that the question word what asks about things, correct? What do the boys find in the park? We can write the boys and we can write the pronoun they. So they find what in the park? They find an old wagon, correct? Okay, this is the answer. Now let's move to the other page. Page 139. What part of the story do you like? Diego, Julio, or the wagon? As you like. Check any part that you like in the story. Letter B. Circle the correct theme of the story. Friends should play together often. People shouldn't be stubborn. It's not good to be rude. The most important thing here, the most important lesson that I understand it from the story after I read it, people shouldn't be stubborn. Correct? So we will circle letter B here. Letter C. Circle true or false. For false statements, statements means sentences. Correct the underlined words and write the correct words. Number 1. Diego and Julio live in the country. In the book here, they circle true, but it's not true, it's false. So cross true, it's false, circle false. Now we will correct the mistake. The mistake here is the word country. So they live in a town. Look here in page 138. One day, they find an old wagon in the park. Before this one, Diego and Julio often play together in the biggest park in town or in a town. so not in a country or the country. Number 2. Diego and Julio play in a football pitch. True or false? False. They play where? In the park. So we will write park on the line. The correct one. 3. Diego and Julio take turns pulling the wagon. True. Number 4. Diego and Julio fight because they only have one wagon. Yeah, true. Number 5. Diego and Julio fight because they are both tall. False. They are stubborn. Number 6. Diego and Julio aren't friends at the end of the story. False. They are friends. Diego and Julio learn an important lesson that day. Yes, true. Now let's move to an exercise. You will do it alone. A lion and a mouse. Once upon a time, it means one day, there lived a lion and a mouse. One day the lion was sleeping. The mouse started playing on it. The lion woke up. He caught up the mouse. Caught is the past of catch. And was going to kill. The mouse requested for forgiveness. The lion let him go. After some days, the lion caught in a net. The mouse cut the net with his teeth. The lion was free. He thanked the mouse. So here, the lion wanted to eat the mouse at the beginning of the story. Then after that, the lion left the mouse. He left the mouse to be free. After that, the mouse helped the lion from the hunter. What did you learn after we read this story? What do you learn now? What's the most important thing that the writer wants you to understand from this story? What do you think? Here, theme. Title of the story, The Lion and the Mouse. What's the theme of the lion and the mouse? Write the theme here on the lines. Okay? I hope that you understand the lesson very well. Stay safe. Thank you so much.